Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your SmackDown Live report for the December the 4th. Happy birthdays for December the 4th. Victor, he's born 1980. Miss Tessmacher was born 1984. December the 5th, Larry Zbyszko, the living legend. He was born 1953. Dynamite Kid. He was born 1958. And on to the rest of the news. According to USA Today, Ronda Rousey is finalizing details that will bring the former UFC champion into the world of WWE. Although not yet officially announced by WWE, it appears that if Rousey will be making her way to the square circle in the near future. The Blast has a story regarding the documents that Rob Van Dam filed in his divorce with his ex-wife Sonya. RVD is arguing that he should pay less than what Sonya is demanding because he can no longer make a good income in the business. RVD claims that he has suffered a concussion in November of 2016 that caused visual impairment and has disqualified him from working for WWE, which he has substantially reduced his income. RVD did note that WWE is not renewing his merchandise contract, which expired earlier this year in July. He said that because of his injuries and not being able to work for WWE again, he has aged out of the business, while Sonya is capable of earning her own income. There's been speculation on WWE NXT superstar Lio Rush being gone from the company, but PW Insider reports that he is still under contract as of this video. Fans started speculating on his status after he apparently removed all WWE references from his Twitter account sometime this week and changed his location from Orlando back to Washington, D.C. Noted how Rush has been out of the ring since late October after the tweet that he made poking fun at Emma's WWE release. Rush then received Twitter heat from various WWE talents, and it was noted that there was an immediate talk of firing Rush, but his quick apology posted to Twitter saved him. It was also noted that Rush would have to put in serious work before the heat was off him. Rush has made a few tweets in the past few days that are fueling the speculation on his status again. One tweet simply says, reflection, and the other is hourglass emoji. It should be noted that he often tweets references to time and clocks, so the hourglass may not be anything cryptic, but you can see some of his recent tweets, such as Man of the Hour. It's Lio Rush reflection. Man of the Hour again. And he just says Man of the Hour. And his last tweet was it's Lio Rush. Time is a gift given to you to give you the time that you need, to show the world that it's your time. Hashtag Rush Hour. And that's the end of his little thing. WSVN-TV entertainment reporter Chris Van Vliet recently interviewed Bully Ray, which I didn't get the video for it, but here's the highlights. Advice on young wrestlers: get over. I don't care what it takes. I don't care if you crap in your own hand and throw it in the fifth row, as long as you get over. Make the people be interested in you. Make them emotionally invested in you. Make them laugh. Make them cry. Make them cheer. Make them boo. Do something. Get over. Listen, you can go in the ring and do a flip or a dive and do this and that, and they'll go oh, and they'll go ah. But so many guys are doing that. I'd like to see guys get over more because they are using the entire range of emotions that a human being has. It's also on the Dudley Boys being inducted into the Hall of Fame. I don't care about the Hall of Fame. I get inducted into the Hall of Fame every single night. I go through that curtain. This is my Hall of Fame. It's the fans. If they're cheering, if they're booing, if they're laughing, crying, or throwing tomatoes at my head, I don't care. That's the Hall of Fame to me. I don't need anything else. I've never really needed anything else. Note that being inducted into TNA Hall of Fame wasn't nice, or if the WWE ever wanted to induct us, that it wouldn't be nice. I don't want to be selfish about it. I know the people would enjoy that. So if the day comes, okay, cool. If the day never comes, I'm not losing an ounce of sleep over it. Austin Aries appeared as a surprise new signing of Defiant Wrestling General Manager Stu Bennett, formerly known as Wade Barrett. On Monday, in front of a sold-out crowd in Newcastle O2 Academy, Aries confronted Defiant Wrestling Champion Marty Scurll, or Skrull, as the report says. I guess they misspelled his name because he was formerly in NXT, and said that he signed a 6-month contract with the promotion. After the main event, Aries joined Mark Haskins and Chris Ridgway to attack Martin Kirby and Skrull. Well, maybe not of NXT, but I know he was in Ring of Honor. Luke Gallows' school, Good Brothers Dojo in Jenkinsburg, Georgia, has a promotion this month for new members where you can get 50% off the normal enrollment down payment. With the promotion, the down payment is now $250 this month instead of the usual $500. After that, it's $200 a month. Current instructors, along with Gallows, are head trainer Tyson Dean, Fry Daddy, and Scotty Beach. Recently on Talk is Jericho, pro wrestling legend Chris Jericho welcomes stars of the Netflix series Glow, Kimmy Gatewood and Rebecca Johnson, as well as Chavo Guerrero, who acted as a trainer and stunt coordinator on the show. During the podcast, Jericho discussed auditioning for part of the Steel Horse on Glow, as well as auditioning for Clint Eastwood. Also, Guerrero talked about why Kevin Kiley, formerly known as WWE's Alex Riley, got the part and who else was auditioned. And that can be, the podcast can be found at that link for that. Apparently, Jericho auditioned for the role of Steel Horse in Glow, but lost out to Alex Riley. I actually set up my little phone in the dressing room in Edmonton, Canada, after a show in a room by myself, and I auditioned Steel Horse for Steel Horse, and I didn't get it. And not only I didn't get it, but Alex Riley got it. He's about one on the scale of pro wrestling notoriety, according to Jericho on that. I kind of like the guy myself. They just didn't use his talents, and that's why he's no longer with WWE. Well, according to Guerrero, The Miz also auditioned for Steel Horse too. Ultimately, Riley got the role because he did audition in character. It's kind of cool because when they were casting this role, a couple of other roles, I was in on it. I was there, and it was cool to see because I do a little bit of acting here and there, and it was cool to see what they look for. Guerrero continued, Chris did great. I mean, I'd put him over. They were looking at me like, you know these guys, right? I'm like, yeah, he did great. We had Miz auditioned for it. Yeah. And then Alex, a couple of other people too. We had different people we were doing. They were all very good. Everyone did very good, but he took it to the next level. In fact, he came out in a bathrobe and kind of in character and costume, and they were looking for that. Also, notably, Jericho said he auditioned for a role in American Sniper, and Clint Eastwood, the man himself, watched. So my agent calls me, and he's like, it's not Spielberg, but it's Clint Eastwood. Yes, I went into Clint has got this whole little village of studios and offices. It's kind of like this. Actually, like this record company, or a group of houses in Warner Brothers lot, and I go over there. I walk inside, and there are Clint Eastwood posters all over the wall. When I go in there, and I'm reading my little part, and sitting in the back of the room is Clint Eastwood because he wanted to see me, and I don't have any idea why Clint wants to see you. Maybe he is a pro wrestling fan. I didn't get the part. Thank you, Mr. Eastwood. Like, holy crap. Keeping it PG. Here's the first episode of another new miniseries by the Celtic Warrior Workouts YouTube channel from Raw Tag Team Champion Sheamus. Yeah, shame on you, Sheamus. Shamu. I used to call him that. Sheamus features Sheamus presenting his best workout memes. As noted, Sheamus posted a video last night that revealed he's currently in Ireland to rehab stenosis and a neck injury that has been bothering him for 6 months. Well, if that's the case, then they may be stripped of their titles very soon. They supposedly have to have a title defense every 30 days. It was noted on Raw that he was back in Ireland this week, only for an annual sabbatical back home. No injury. Sheamus and Cesaro are set to defend the Raw Tag Team Champions against Seth Rollins and Ambrose on Monday Raw in Los Angeles. So if he is taking a sabbatical again, look for the Shield to win the titles. Again, go to that link. Former WWE star Jack Swagger trained with Batista in Ybor City Jiu-Jitsu Club. Swagger recently announced that he signed with Bellator MMA and told us that he hopes to fight for the promotion twice in 2018. Batista congratulated Swagger on his new career. As seen on his account, you can go to Instagram.com, Dave Batista. Former WWE Champion The Rock will receive his own Hollywood Star Walk of Fame on Wednesday, December 13th. Next week at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The event will be live streamed on walkoffame.com. Short promo of Jumanji movie with The Rock can be found in this link. While Vince McMahon has a star on the Walk of Fame, Rock will be the first full-time pro wrestler to receive a star. Well, he's not full-time anymore, so that would be a false report. Vince was honored for his work in TV, while Rock is being honored for his work in film. And here is a full announcement on the big honor. Hollywood Chamber to honor Dwayne Johnson with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Who? Honoree Dwayne Johnson. MC, Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. President, CEO, Leron Gubler. Guest speakers to be announced. What? Dedication of the 2,624 star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in the category of motion pictures. Where? 6801 Hollywood Boulevard in front of Hollywood and Highland Complex. When? Wednesday, December 13, 2017 at 11:30 a.m. The event will be live streamed exclusively on walkoffame.com. The Hollywood Chamber of Commerce is proud to announce that actor Dwayne Johnson will be honored with the 2,624th star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on Wednesday, December 13th at 11:30 a.m. The star will be dedicated in the category of motion pictures at the 6801 Hollywood Boulevard address in front of Hollywood and Highland. Everyone loves Dwayne Johnson. We predict that his star will be a very popular one to visit on our famous walk. Well, by the way, don't walk in the streets because it won't be there. It'll be like on the sidewalk. Not only does Dwayne have a great personality and talent, but he also does great amount of philanthropic work, which is part of the criteria for earning an immortal spot on the Walk of Fame. We envision scores of photos being taken at his star by his fans, stated Anna Martinez, producer of the Walk of Fame ceremonies. The Hollywood Chamber of Commerce which administers the popular star ceremonies, encourages people who are unable to attend and fans around the world to watch the event exclusively on walkoffame.com. With film revenues exceeding $2 billion worldwide, Dwayne Johnson has solidified himself as a global box office powerhouse in both films and television. Always adding to his busy schedule, Johnson shows no sign of slowing down. He will soon be seen in Sony's highly anticipated Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle alongside Kevin Hart and Jack Black in theaters December 20th. Johnson recently wrapped New Line Cinema's Rampage, set to be released April 20th, 2018, as well as Legendary's Skyscraper, set to be released in July 2018. Next year, he will star in Disney's Jungle Cruise, based on its own theme park ride. This past year, Johnson starred in Paramount's Baywatch and Universal Pictures' The Fate of the Furious, the 8th installment of the successful Fast and Furious franchise. In 2019, Johnson will star with Jason Statham in a Fast and the Furious spin-off movie based on his breakout character Hobbs. Adding to a slew of tentpole films, Johnson starred in the highest-grossing live-action comedy, Central Intelligence, opposite Kevin Hart for New Line Cinema, and also lent his voice to widely successful Disney animated film, Moana, released in November 2016. Johnson starred in the 2015 summer blockbuster San Andreas from New Line Cinema in association with Roadshow Pictures, as well, which is set to feature a sequel. Among Johnson's recent film credits are Universal's Furious 7, Paramount's Hercules, the dramatic thriller Snitch, the comic book action adventure G.I. Joe Retaliation, the dramatic independent film Empire State, Pain and Gain alongside Mark Wahlberg, Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6, which grossed a combined for $1.4 billion globally. Johnson's previous films include Race to Witch Mountain, Get Smart, The Game Plan, Journey to the Mysterious Island, which grossed over $325 million in 2011, Be Cool, an MGM sequel to Get Shorty, the 2004 remake, Walking Tall, and Universal's The Rundown. Johnson was cast by Stephen Sommers in The Mummy Returns, which grossed more than $400 million worldwide. His role was so well received by Universal's executives that they immediately planned a film based on his character, the Scorpion King, which broke box office records in 2002. Johnson's production company, Seven Bucks Production, co-founded by his business partner, Danny Garcia, has produced several shows, including HBO's highest-rated half-hour comedy, Ballers, starring Johnson and entering its fourth season in 2018. In 2017, Seven Bucks produced the critically acclaimed soundtracks on CNN and science fiction action drama Lifeline on YouTube Red, as well as youth prison documentary Rock and A Hard Place. For HBO, which came the network's #1 watch standalone special, Seven Bucks also teamed with filmmaker Andrew Jenks to produce the podcast What Really Happened, which recently hit #1 on iTunes podcast charts. Born in San Francisco and raised in Hawaii, Johnson excelled a high school All-American and subsequently a star defensive lineman for the University of Miami Hurricanes, helping lead his team to a national championship. Upon graduating from the University of Miami, Johnson followed in the footsteps of his WWE Hall of Fame father, Rocky Johnson, and grandfather, High Chief Peter Maivia, by joining the competitive sports entertainment world of the WWE. With a 7-year period from 1996 to 2003, his intense passion led to an extraordinarily successful career, breaking box office attendance records across the United States and setting pay-per-view buy rate records during the period as well. As The Rock, a larger-than-life extension of himself, Johnson became one of the most charismatic and dynamic characters in the industry has ever seen. In March 2012, Johnson made a record-breaking return to the WWE, where he defeated John Cena to become the WWE Champion in the main event at WrestleMania 28 in Miami. Known as the People's Champion in WWE, Johnson takes tremendous pride in the relationship he has with the audience. or with his audience. Feeding off their passion and connectivity, Johnson regularly engages his over 175 million followers across the social media, as well as his YouTube channel, and was ranked number 1 on Hollywood Reporter's Top Actors chart with ranks for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Google+. Johnson penned an autobiography, The Rock Says, which reached number 1 on the New York Times bestseller list shortly after its publication in January 2000. Johnson also created the Rock Foundation in 2006 with a mission to educate, empower, and motivate children worldwide through health and physical fitness. A dedicated philanthropist, Johnson is the current national spokesperson for the Entertainment Industry Foundation's Diabetes Awareness Campaign. He is also a committed celebrity cabinet member for the American Red Cross and serves as a national celebrity wish ambassador for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Well, so was John Cena. In 2008, the United States Congress and the United States Joint Leadership Commission recognized Johnson with the prestigious Horizon Award, the United States Congressional Award given to an individual in the private sector who has demonstrated outstanding leadership and provided opportunities for youth nationwide. Rusev and Aiden English defeated the New Day on SmackDown to earn a spot in the SmackDown Tag Team title match at WWE Clash of Champions. The match will now be a fatal 4-way with the Usos defending against Rusev and English, Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, and the New Day. SmackDown also saw Mojo Rawley explain why he turned on Zack Ryder last week to break up the Hype Brothers. Mojo talked about how Ryder returned and did nothing but bring him down because he's dead weight. Mojo also said he's a serious competitor and not just someone's tag team partner. And here, did not get... but here's some comments from Zack Ryder and Mojo himself. And Zack Ryder, 2 WrestleMania moments. One guy worked his whole life to get one guy asked his famous friend for a favor. Hashtag SD Live. At Mojo Rawley WWE, whole life. That's cute. I won my first Mania. P.S. Who rescued you from obscurity and brought you back to relevance? Oh yeah, that was me. Shut up and fade back to nothingness. Hashtag SD Live. From Waukesha, Wisconsin at House of Hardcore 36, former WWE Women's Champion Candice Michelle wrestled her final match. This was also her first match she has had since leaving WWE back in 2009. Michelle went up against someone she saw often during her WWE tenure, Lisa Marie Verone, also known as Victoria, who won the WWE Women's Championship on 2 occasions. Milwaukee's own at Diva Candice M, wrestling her last match against at Real Lisa Marie on Twitter. Live on Twitch. I'll give you that link for you there. House of Hardcore. At House of Hardcore, December 3rd, 2017. At Real Lisa Marie has arrived. Hashtag HOH36. And again, at that link. House of Hardcore. Again, at House of Hardcore from December 3rd, 2017. Michelle began with the WWE through the Diva Search in 2004. Although not being picked as one of the final 10 women, she was offered a contract to work for the company anyways. Initially starting in the stable, Vince's Devils, named after WWE Chairman Vince McMahon, with Tori Wilson and Victoria. Michelle split off the singles competition in mid-2006. In July 2007, at Vengeance, she defeated Melina by pinfall victory to win the WWE Women's Championship. She held the title for 105 days before dropping it to Beth Phoenix. Along the way, injuries began to build up and cost Michelle a lot of TV time. In an interview on Milwaukee before her retirement match, Michelle spoke about how the injuries led to the end of her WWE career. We were coming back from a 2-week European tour, and it was our last match in Nebraska before we got a break, as Michelle said. It was a big match with me and Beth Phoenix. I went up to the top rope for a spot where she was going to hit the rope, but I was going to eat it. But my boot caught, and I nosedived, so I was knocked out on live TV. The next thing I remember, I was waking up in the ambulance, and they said, "Your husband's being flown in. When you're in a neck brace, you're in an ambulance, and they're flying your husband in. It's pretty scary." Thankfully, I just had broken a collarbone and a concussion. But the hardest part is it shelved me. I worked so hard to get to that spot, and that recognition from my co-workers and from the fans, and now I'm shelved for 6 months. Wanted to get back in the ring sooner than she probably should have. Michelle spoke about how she weaseled her way into another match. I think most wrestlers have a very relentless mentality, Michelle recalled. Somehow, I had to convince producer Johnny Laurinaitis, people power, and the doctor that my collarbone was not broken anymore, even though the x-rays showed it was still. Somehow I weaseled my way into a match, and the first drop kick, I shattered it. But I finished the match. I was shelved another 6 months. Then I was coming back, and WrestleMania was coming up. Just being in overdrive, I did a Superman punch, landed him on my ankle, and tore 2 ligaments. That was the final injury where I got the call to say, "All right, kid, you're done." After training for a month and a half prior, in her final match, Michelle picked up the victory and thanked Victoria for helping her and when she first started in WWE. And you can see a picture of this link for that, for the event. Just a note, the audio is a bit difficult to hear from the video as well. Again, House of Hardcore. They gave the results of it. At Diva Candice M defeated at Real Lisa Marie, and they share a moment. Thank you, Candice. Hashtag HOH36 and that link. Callisto will be missing to a 5 live episode as he's headed to Abu Dhabi for the Raw brand tour. As noted, WWE Cruiserweight Champion Enzo Amore will also be missing tonight's show due to the tour. Callisto and Enzo are scheduled for this week's live events in Abu Dhabi in India. And there was a video, but I did not get the link for that. Well, it was of Jack Gallagher and Brian Kendrick ranting to Joshua Fuentes about Callisto and warning him to stay away from 205 Live when he gets back from the tour. Last week's 205 Live episode saw Callisto defeat Gallagher by disqualification due to an attack from Kendrick. SmackDown Tag Team title match at December 17th. Clash of Champions pay-per-view, spoiler alert, will now be a 4-way match as Rusev and Aiden English have been added. The match will feature the Usos defending against English and Rusev, New Day, Shelton Benjamin, and Chad Gable. Rusev and English defeated the New Day on SmackDown episode, and you can see that in this link here. Dark match before SmackDown tapings from San Diego, California. Wonder how they're keeping away from the San Diego County fires. How far are they away from San Diego County in San Diego, California? Well, they were at the Valley View Casino Center and saw Ty Dillinger defeat Mike Kanellis. As Maria is off TV for a while, and she's pregnant. SmackDown opens up with a standard intro video. We're live from Valley View Casino Center in San Diego, California. As Tom Phillips welcomes us, he's joined in by Corey Graves and Byron Saxon. We go right to the ring. Out comes Kevin Owens with Sami Zayn. We see a video from last week's no disqualification main event, which saw Sami help Owens defeat Randy Orton. Owens welcomes us to the Sami and Kevin show to a mixed reaction. Sammy says Owens is far too gracious, but tonight it's the Kevin and Sammy show. Owens says when you're as great as an athlete as he is, you never stop learning, and he's recently learned that the McMahon family will stop at nothing to get their pound of flesh when you're one of their targets. Just ask Daniel Bryan or WWE Hall of Famer Bret Hart or WWE Hall of Famer Steve Austin. Better yet, just ask Owens and Sammy. Owens says that they're better than any of the guys that they just mentioned anyways combined. This is why they are the latest objects of the McMahon family wrath. Owens points to how SmackDown commissioner Shane McMahon tried using Orton during his career last week. Sammy mentioned Shane using Orton to do his dirty work these days, but not too long ago, it was Raw Commissioner Stephanie McMahon using Orton, so this is nothing new. Owens says that they crawl and fight for their opportunities, while Orton is always hand-hitting his. They go on and say Shane's plan didn't even work last week. Owens knew he had to beat Orton so bad that Orton would no longer be an option for Shane. Owens had to show the world that he's not afraid of Orton or Shane's vendetta against them. And to do that, he had to outsmart Shane. They go on the mic, and Sammy ends up walking around the ring and knocking the announcers and some other ringside employees. Then the fans and the fans boo. Sammy continues walking up the ramp where he destroyed Orton last week. Sammy is bragging on how Owens won last week when Orton suddenly appears in the ring and takes Owens out with an RKO out of nowhere. Sammy looks on from the ramp, stunned. Orton stares Sammy down and looks to go after him, but the music hit, and out comes SmackDown Commissioner Shane McMahon. Shane said he does not have a vendetta against Sammy and Owens. Regarding the two being left off WWE Survivor Series, Shane says they will be featured at Clash of Champions in 2 weeks. He announces Sammy and Owens versus Orton and a partner of Orton's choosing. Shane announces Sammy versus Orton for tonight. Owens will be handcuffed to the ring rope for the match. Shane tells Sammy good luck, and his music hits. Sammy looks on from the ramp as Owens recovers from the floor, and Orton smirks from the ring. Still to come segment, Bobby Roode versus Baron Corbin, also the New Day versus Rusev, and in English we go to commercial. Back from the break, and Sammy is backstage with Owens. Owens asks Sammy to explain to him what Shane just announced. Owens isn't happy about being handcuffed to the rope during Sammy versus Orton. Owens says he's going to fix this by talking to SmackDown General Manager Daniel Bryan. First matchup, New Day versus Rusev in English. We go to the ring, and Rusev is waiting in the ring with Aiden English. English starts singing about the 12 days of Rusev for Christmas. Music interrupts, and the New Day is out. English starts off with Big E, and Xavier Woods watches from the floor with Francesca. Big E overpowers English after grinding on him, then slams him on the mat. Kobe tags in and drops English for a 2 count. English fights back, but runs into Boots in the corner. Kobe with a springboard crossbody for a 2 count. Kobe with more offense now. Kobe goes for a boom drop, but Rusev pulls him to safety. Rusev and English regroup on the floor as the New Day taunts them in the ring. We go to commercial. Back from the break, English has Kobe grounded on the mat. Rusev ends up tagging in and keeping the offense going. Kobe tries to fight back, but can't get it turned around. Big E and English finally tag in at the same time. Big E unloads on English with throws and suplexes. Big E dances over English and runs the ropes for a big splash. Big E gets the crowd hyped and goes for the big ending, but English rakes his eyes. Rusev tags in, but Big E catches him with a big slam for a 2 count. Kobe tags back in. Alright, Kobe tries to fight back, but can't get it turned around. Big E and English finally tag in at the same time. Big E then unloads on English with throws and suplexes. Big E dances over English and runs the ropes for the big splash. Big E then gets the crowd hyped and goes for the big ending, but English rakes the eyes. Rusev tags in, but Big E catches him with a big slam for a 2 count. Kofi tags back in, but Rusev pulls Big E to the floor and sends him into the steel ring steps. Kofi runs the ropes and leaps, taking out Rusev on the floor. Kofi rolls Rusev back into the ring. Kofi then picks English up off the apron. Kofi springboards in, but Rusev pushes the top rope and he lands bad. Rusev with a kick to the back of the neck for the win. After the match, New Day goes to the floor as Rusev and English stand tall in the ring as we go to Rusev's music playing. We see footage of Mojo Rawley turning on Zack Ryder from last week. Renee Young backstage with Mojo now. Mojo says everyone keeps getting hit on him for what he did to Ryder, even Rob Gronkowski. Mojo wonders why no one will ask what Ryder did to him. Mojo says he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal by himself at WrestleMania after Ryder got hurt. And right when things were going good for Mojo, Ryder returned to bring him down because he's dead weight. Mojo says he's a serious competitor and he's not someone's tag team partner. Mojo issues a challenge to the back and says if people don't like what he did to Ryder, they can shove it. So to come segment, Orton versus Sammy with Owens handcuffed to the ring rope. Back to commercial. Daniel Bryan's backstage with Carmella, Lana, and Tamina Snuka. Carmella says she rid the world of James Ellsworth, which deserves a spotlight at Clash of Champions alone. Lana makes the case for Tamina Snuka deserving a title shot. Bryan says that the SmackDown Women's title match is already official for Clash. Natalya versus Charlotte Flair. Riot Squad ends up walking in. Ruby Riott points out how she even pinned Flair and wonders why she isn't even getting a title shot. Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan also have words. The two sides end up arguing until Bryan yells at them. Bryan says that they will all be at the Clash. As Natalya versus Flair will now be a lumberjack match. We go to backstage with Bobby Roode and U.S. Champion Baron Corbin. They have words ahead of tonight's non-title match. Dolph Ziggler appears and brags about being so good, which is why he was put in the match with Roode and Corbin. He pokes fun at Corbin for his failed Money in the Bank cash-in earlier this year. Ziggler says Corbin and Roode odds just dropped to 0, and he will see them in Boston. So it comes segment, the Bludgeon Brothers. We go to commercial. The Bludgeon Brothers versus Adam James and Josh Carr. Don't know these guys. Back from the break, out comes Rowan and Harper, while enhancement talent Adam James and Josh Carr are waiting in the ring. Looks like it's going to be a squash match. Rowan starts off with one man and floors him with a kick. Harper knocks the other one off the apron and follows him for a huge clothesline on the floor. They bring the action back in the ring and double team the legal man. Rowan with a huge power slam. Rowan scoops Harper and slams him on top of the legal man. Harper tags back in for another big double team for the easy squash win. After the match, Rowan and Harper stood tall as we go to replays. Announcers lead us to behind the scenes footage of Charlotte Flair on the Psych movie that airs on the USA Network this coming Thursday. Well, Sammy is backstage with Owens, asking if he talked to Daniel Bryan about being cuffed to the rope. Sammy rants, and Owens calms him down. Owens did speak to Bryan, and Bryan said he did. He'd think about it. Sammy hugs Owens, but Owens looks annoyed. Sammy asks if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Owens says, we'll have to wait and find out. So the comes segment, Roode versus Corbin, back to commercial, and that match is up next. Back from the break, and out comes U.S. Champion Baron Corbin for the non-title match as Greg Hamilton does formal ring introductions. Bobby Roode's out next to a pop. Dolph Ziggler was out for commentary. Back and forth to start the match. Corbin dropped Roode with big shoulder and worked him over. Roode took out Corbin's knee and sent him to the floor. Some fans chant for Roode, but Corbin drops him with a right hand to fight back into the ring. Corbin returns to the ring and keeps Roode grounded while talking some trash. Corbin with a big clothesline in the corner. Roode fights out of a headlock. Roode then focuses on Corbin's knee. Rude charges, but Corbin catches him with a choke slam, but Rude avoids it. Corbin runs into Boots in the corner. Rude comes off the second rope, but Corbin misses it. They both go down after colliding with clotheslines. Ziggler enters the ring to get a closer look at the action. Referee warns him. Ziggler drops Rude in a zigzag as the fans boo. What about disqualification? Bobby Roode. After the bell, Ziggler waited for Corbin to get up and dropped him with a zigzag. Ziggler stood tall as his music plays. Natalya approached Tamina, Lana, and Carmella backstage about being lumberjack at the Clash. Natalya says that she will have Tamina's back in her match with Flair tonight. Natalya tries to get the trio to have her back in case the Riot Squad tries to attack her at the Clash, but they're not buying it. Ruby, Liv, and Logan appear behind Natalya. Natalya tries to suck up to them, thanking them for faking out Naomi and Becky Lynch, and she goes on praising them and tries to warn them about Flair. Natalya says she's so honored to share the spotlight with the most powerful women in WWE, the Riot Squad. Natalya does an awkward laugh and leaves in a hurry. So to come segment, Sammy versus Orton with Owens handcuffed to the ropes. Also, a special look at Jinder Mahal versus AJ Styles. Back to commercial. Back from the break, and the announcers lead us to a video package on Jinder Mahal versus WWE Champion AJ Styles at the Clash of Champions. Charlotte Flair versus Tamina Snuka was up next. We go to the ring. Out comes SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte for this non-title match. Tamina's waiting in the ring already. Natalya, Lana, and Carmella are posted up at ringside on each side. Back and forth to start the match. Flair drops Tamina and covers her for a 2 count. Tamina fights up and to her feet and whips Flair into the corner, but she lands on the apron. Flair fights her way in from the apron and stuns Tamina. As Tamina rams Flair back into the corner and unloads a shoulder thrust. Tamina then scoots Flair and dumps her in the corner, and Tamina stands tall as we go to commercial. Back from the commercial, Tamina remains in control. Flair fights out of a hold, but Tamina floors her and covers for a 2 count. As Lana looks on and nods in approval, Flair comes back in with a neck breaker and chops. Flair with more offense and another pin attempt. Flair counters a Samoan drop and then drops Tamina with a big boot. Flair goes for the figure 4 in the middle of the ring and bridges it into the figure 8. Tamina quickly tapped out, winning the match, Charlotte Flair. After the match, Flair stood tall. Charlotte stood tall with the title. Natalya jumped on the apron and asked if Flair is done yet. Natalya congratulates Flair on the win and taunted her. Natalya says Flair should enjoy her last little taste of victory because Natalya is taking the title back at the Clash of Champions. Natalya says the Queen will then bow down to the best there was, is, and ever will be. Natalya tells Flair to take a look around the ring and see what is in store. The music interrupts and out comes the Riot Squad. Ruby Riott has the mic and says for once she agrees with Natalya, as they should give Flair a preview of what's in store for her at the Clash of Champions. Ruby asks what's a preview without the stars of the show. She tells the WWE Universe to break out their popcorn and drinks because the Riot Squad is here for the feature presentation. Sarah Logan quotes her grandpa about how nervous the others look. Liv Morgan says no one is safe when a riot is about to break out. That's why they look nervous. Tamina nails Logan and drops her to start the brawl. Carmella and Lana hold Tamina back while Ruby and Liv hold Logan back. Flair retreats up the ramp with the title. Flair then raises the title on the stage as her music hits. To end that segment. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens backstage walking when they see Daniel Bryan. Owens thanks Daniel Bryan for listening to them and his appeal. Bryan says he did listen to the appeal. Owens thinks it's wrong to be cuffed to the rope, but at the same time, Shane wants to make sure there's no interference in the main event. Security appears with the cuffs in hand behind Bryan. Bryan says he agrees with the commissioner, and Owens just shakes his head. Then we go back to commercial. Back from the break, we get Owens at ringside with Sami. Bryan and security. Owens refuses to let them handcuff him to the ring rope. Bryan says Owens will be suspended if he refuses. Owens finally agrees and throws a fit after the cuffs are locked. Announcers running down the card for the Clash of Champions. Randy Orton versus Sami Zayn is up next. And we go back to the ring. Randy Orton makes his way out for your main event. Back to commercial. Bell rings and Orton takes it to the corner as they lock up. After the back from the commercial, they end up on the floor and Orton launches Sami over the announce table. Orton also backdrops Sami on top of the barrier. Orton then later slams Sami on top of the announce table, crushing a monitor. Sami goes back into the ring, but right back out of the ring to where Owens is cuffed. Orton goes to follow, but stops before leaving the ring. Orton talks some trash. Sami tries to take advantage of a distraction and come from behind, but Orton decks him and sends him back into the barrier. Orton with an uppercut. Orton drives Sami on top of the announce table. More back and forth between the two. Sami sends Orton into the steel ring steps and then brings it back in for a 2 count. Sami with a few holds before sending Orton to the floor in front of Owens, who talks more trash and taunts Orton. And we go to commercial. Back for the commercial, and Orton mounts offense to a pop. Orton with a power slam. Sami goes to the floor for a breather and looks under the ring for a weapon, but Orton decks him in front of the ring. Sami hits Orton and grabs a pair of bolt cutters from under the ring. Sami goes over and tries to cut Owens' cuff off as Orton stops Sami and drops him, then runs Owens face first into the ring post. Sami then nails Orton from behind. Sami brings Orton back in the ring as Owens is still cuffed. Sami goes to the top, but he takes too long and Orton crotches him. Fan chant for the RKO now. Orton climbs up for a big superplex, driving Sami into the mat. And we see Owens using the bolt cutters now. Orton drops Owens on the floor just as Sami breaks his cuff. Orton nails him with nails a draping DDT on Sami as the fans cheer him on. Orton stands tall before dropping down to the mat. Owens comes to the apron, but Orton kicks him for a draping DDT, but Sami comes up from behind and rolls Orton up for a 2 count. Sami avoids the RKO, but misses a hell of a kick in the corner. Orton rolls Sami up out of the corner and gets a pinfall win. After the bell, Orton stood tall until Owens drops him from behind. Sami and Owens double team Orton until the music hits and out comes Shinsuke Nakamura for the save. Nakamura with a big running kick to take Owens down. Nakamura takes out Sami next. Then Owens again. Nakamura hits Owens with a Kinshasa. Orton recovers now and grabs Sami as a fan chant for the RKO. Orton nails it and drops Sami. Orton's music hits as he shakes hands with Nakamura in the middle of the ring. It looks like Orton has his partner for Clash of Champions. We go to replays. We come back to Owens taking the RKO before Sami takes a Kinshasa. Orton stands tall with Nakamura as the artist's music plays. We cut backstage to Shane and Bryan calling that one of the most satisfying finishes to SmackDown since they took over. Bryan asks if his punishment for Owens and Sami is over yet. Shane says he's just getting started, as he will be the special referee for Owens and Sami versus Orton and Nakamura at the Clash of Champions. Shane says if Owens and Sami lose, they will be fired from not just SmackDown, but all of WWE. Shane and Bryan look on as Orton and Nakamura continue their celebration. The SmackDown goes off the air. And we get 205 live results. And they start off with a recap from Raw with Enzo hyping up the Zoe train. Highlights from the Fatal 4-Way with Mustafa Ali, Drew Gulak, Cedric Alexander, and Tony Nese. Gulak was able to pick up the sneaky win to move on to face Rich Swann to determine the next #1 contender. The match will be on Raw next week. Vic Joseph and Nigel McGuinness welcome us to the show as they preview some of tonight's matches. Rich Swann versus Tony Nese. Also, Graham Metallic versus Lil Brian Kendrick. Drew Gulak hits in the ring using Enzo's music, which seems to have some volume issues. Gulak wants everybody to jump aboard the Drew train while Enzo is away tonight. Gulak hypes his recent wins and looks to continue his PowerPoint presentation. Nope, out comes Cedric Alexander. Gulak says, had Alexander not interrupted him, he would have found out one of the slides our strong leaders delegate. And that's exactly what Gulak is doing tonight. Out comes Noam Dar. So we got Noam Dar versus Cedric Alexander. Galak heads to commentary and talks about how Dar is the baby of the group and wants to prove himself to the group. Dar initially gets things going, but Alexander quickly drops him with a flurry of moves. Pin for a 2 count. Dar to the outside. Galak tells him he needs to pay attention to his opponent as he dodges Alexander and drops him on the floor with a kick to the face. A high 5 to Galak. Dar tosses his opponent back in the ring. Another pin attempt for a 2 count. Dar dropped with a big elbow. Alexander to the apron. Huge springboard clothesline pin attempt. Only gets a 2 count. And so far, you can get the action of this league. In comments from Twitter, from Total Diva Seps, Cedric Alexander is money. Alexander pumping himself up, and he looks to finish off Dar, who ends up laying in some forearm shots. Catches a kick by Alexander, throws it into the ropes, kicks to the other leg. Dar goes up to the top rope. Galak starts yelling at him to get down. Dar ends up not doing anything. Alexander hits his handspring spinning kick, lumbar check, and that'll do it. Galak is very disappointed with the results and bounces from the announce table, which can be found at this link. Again, Total Diva Steps at Drew Galak knows what's best for you. Winner of the match, Cedric Alexander by pinfall. 205 Live is going to run a few live shows, and Mustafa Ali, Akira Tozawa, and Rich Swann talk about hitting the road. They make fun of Galak, and Dasha Ventez enters to talk with Swann. She asks about his upcoming match against Tony Nese. He's had an adversary in the past, so he's not worried about Nese and plans to keep it classy. Recap of the Brian Kendrick and Gallagher taking out Kalisto. Earlier today, Kendrick talked about how Kalisto gets all these opportunities, but he's had to fight his way to get where he is. Gallagher indicates that Kalisto is gone for now and can stay gone. Graham Metallic with a quick backstage promo that says he's looked forward to Kalisto's return. He plans to take out Kendrick, and if needed, he will use Gallagher's umbrella to make his personal pinata. And we get the Brian Kendrick versus Graham Metallic. Metallic with a nice rope walking arm drag to kick things off to start the match, followed by more rope walking into a drop kick. Kendrick to the outside. Metallic with a suicide dive that ends up hitting Gallagher. Springboard drop kick into the ring that sends Kendrick to the floor on the opposite side. He charges for a baseball slide, but Kendrick avoids it and sends Metallic into the crowd. Metallic backs up, leaps over the barricade, and hits a Hurricane Rana. Metallic with another try with the ropes, but Gallagher pulls him down from behind. And we get comments on Twitter from Total Diva Seps. Metallic time. This link for the action. Kendrick is able to take advantage and keeps his opponent grounded. Metallic with a nice power bomb reversal into a pin. Kendrick charges into the corner, misses the pin attempt. 2 count. Metallic tries for another quick pin, but no luck, and gets an elbow under the jaw. Slice blade number 2 attempt. Nope. Knee to Metallic's face. Head into the ring post. More knee strikes. Ouch. Center of the ring. Captain's hook locked in, and Metallic is out of it. Ref calls for the belt. Total Diva Saps again commenting on the match. We found this link. Winner of the match, Brian Kendrick by submission. Recap of Nia Jax saying, "How you doing?" to Enzo from Raw. Backstage, Glock talks with DeVary, Nese, and Dar, and attempts to lead the group. He wants Rich Swann taken down, so he'll win the match against him next week. DeVary pushes back about Glock, trying to be the new leader, but Glock says when Enzo gets back, he'll have to deal with him. DeVary eases up. Glock says they are like the Justice League and says DeVary is Wonder Woman, which DeVary initially doesn't like, but it's because of his fierce fighting ability and great fashion sense. Now DeVary is down with that comparison. Also, I would have also accepted because Wonder Woman is the best one. Haven't you seen the movie? They can be found at this link. Total Diva Saps comments. Vignet for Hideo Itami coming soon to 205 Live. Tony Nese with Drew Gulak versus Rich Swann with Cedric Alexander. Nese trying to take down Swann, but pretty much a stalemate until Nese sweeps the legs out from under Swann on the apron. Swann recovers, gets tossed up to the apron, pulls off a Phoenix Splash from the second rope down to the floor. Gulak gets in Swann's face, but overcomes Alexander to back him up a bit. Nese with a body lock. Swann leans back to get a pin attempt a couple of times, but the third time he's able to escape. Nese does some corner crunches, kicking away at Swann. Another pin attempt, only 2 count. He'll be fine with this thing. And another comment from TD Wrestling at Total Divas Steps. Nese really focusing on Swann's midsection. Sweeps down Swann. Goes for a second rope moonsault. Misses. Multiple clothesline by Swann. Walks into a kick, but hits a Hurricane Rana with Nese sitting on top of the turnbuckle. Pinned for a 2 count. Hits a pump handle slam. Nese hits a pump handle slam. Tries immediately for a pin for a 2 count. Back and forth strikes to both superstars, with Swann hitting a few kicks to the face. He heads up to the top and hits a Phoenix Splash for the victory. Gulak looks pretty bummed at ringside. Winner of the match, Rich Swann by pinfall. After the match, Gulak hits a siren on his megaphone. Out comes Dar and Daivari. The group of 4 surround the ring and head in to take out Swann and Alexander. From the crowd is Tozawa and Ali. And suddenly the numbers game is evened up. The Zo Train group gets bounced quickly from the ring, heads back up the ramp. Gulak and Swann taunt each other as the credits roll to end the show. The dark match main event, after 205 Live in San Diego, saw WWE Champion AJ Styles retain over Jinder Mahal. AJ and Jinder did not appear on this week's SmackDown broadcast, but WWE did air a video on their feud to hype December 17th Clash of Champions match. And that concludes my SmackDown and 205 Live results for this week. And if you don't know, just call me brothers and sisters. See you while I'm being.